friends, Jujubear here, welcome back to the channel. Now, this is game 2 of round 1 in the Farkwod Olympics, which is a new tournament put together by Lord Farkwod, aka Sexual Predator. And I'm going to be playing against Sigurd, Sigurd, Snake in the Eye from the AIMA clan. With the first match, if you haven't seen it, jump back and have a look at that. I'll try and leave a link somewhere. And in the first match, I played as EPIRUS and I won. So this time we've swapped factions, so this is game 2, and I'm going to be playing as MASSILIA. Now, it is a best of 3. If I can win this match, then I'll be sitting pretty to move through to the to round 2. So this build, interesting. Well, I think it's interesting. I've got 4 Celtic warriors at the front with a gold XP chevron, so that gives them some pretty gnarly morale and melee attack and melee defense. So these guys are actually nothing to sneeze at on the battlefield here. So I got 4 of them in the center. 4 MASSILIAN Hoplites, including my general. I got a Skirmisher Cav, EPIRUS Lancer, Levy Freemans, 2 of them out here, and 2 Axe Warriors, and a MASSILIAN Cav. So this is a nice little wing, and I've got the same thing happening over here. Late game, I don't have any skirmishers, so my opponent, I was giving him the skirmishing advantage. What I'm hoping to do is late game, just kind of annoy with my, get rear charged with the EPIRUS Lancer and get around the flank with my Skirmisher Cav and get into his skirmishes at that point as well. So at this point I saw that he was bringing up his Italian Cav and he was going to charge into my swords. So I was like, fuck, I'll swap him out for MASSILIAN Hoplites, and it looks like he thought better of it. So he's got really good judgment. Sigurd is actually a pretty good player, I reckon. But he's got 2 Thessalians, 2 Italian Cav. He's got Militia Hoplites at the front, 1, 2, 3, 4. Levy Pikemen, he's got 3 Sam Knights. Out in the flank, he's got Royal Peltas and the Threya Spear, which I thought was really cool. I really like seeing these Royal Peltas on the battlefield. And then also in the center, 2 Radiant Slingers. So my opponent's going to take the initiative here to get a charge with his Thessalians against my Celtic Warriors. And I'm going to get some pretty nice counter charges with my Celtic Warriors. These Celtic Warrior swords are just going to get pummeled by the Cav charge there. But I was able to get my MASSILIAN Hoplites into the combat as well, and I'm not really worried about those Militia Hoplites. They're gonna crumble pretty quickly. What I am worried about though is the mercenary Sam Knights. So at this point, I've mobilized in the center. I've got all my charges off. I just have to try and get around the flanks and get good engagement. So I want to kind of counter his Threya Spears with my Axe Warriors, and then maybe get around the flanks and shoot into his back with my Levy Freeman. So you can see what I'm doing here with my Levy Freeman is I'm going to position it right here so that they can kind of fire their javelins into the flank of this, whatever it is, Sam Knight Warrior. And I find that's the best way of making those units cost effective as well. At this point I was trying to get a counter charge with my MASSILIAN Cavalry against this Royal Peltas because I don't really have anything that can counter it super well. So I got a half-hearted charge, it wasn't that great. In the center I managed to shred a Militia Hoplite. So my gen is going to be chasing after this Thessalian Cav, and I've got a Celtic Warrior as well. Same thing over here, so I've got a Levy Frame. I'm going to position it kind of around the flank and get them to shoot their precursors into the units inside. Over here I'm going to counter his Threya Spears with my Axe Warriors, getting to them into combat with them as fast as possible, just to stop them from throwing their spears and that kind of stuff. Well, not spears, and he's going to swap out for his Royal Peltas. I didn't actually notice that, but that was a good move, I think. Over here you can see we're racking up some kills with these Levy Freeman. I think they ran out of ammo at that point. But I have successfully countered everything that he has, which is great. So now I'm going to start to mobilize my EPIRUS Lancer and my Skirmisher Cav. So you can see I've moved him out to the flanks. I've got it off fire at will. I want to conserve its ammo for the right targets. Over here I'm going to chase after his Italian Cavalry, and I'm going to try and get my Axe Warrior into this Threya Spear. He's going to bring his Thessalians out, so I'm going to change targets here and lock down his Thessalians for a little bit longer and get my MASSILIAN Hoplites in. And yeah, you can see these guys are getting some pretty good angles on this Royal Peltas, who is chewing its way through my Axe Warrior currently. I mean, same thing over here. Going to get my Axe Warriors, just pummel those guys fairly quickly. I think I do get a nice counter charge here with my MASSILIAN Cav and my Levy Freeman. Just going to hold them down for a little bit. These Skirmisher Cav are going to start shooting their javelins. They haven't started shooting this whole battle yet, so I'm just holding onto that unit for the late game if I need it. Over here, again, just getting javelins in, just showering this guy with precursors. I find it's like the easiest way, not the easiest way, but the most cost-effective way to use those Levy Freeman sometimes. Like, don't even charge them in, just kind of sit them a little bit further back and get them to fire their friggin' javelins. Just like these guys as well. Getting very cost-effective kills in this Royal Peltast. Just shredding a lot of them. Italian Cav are going to come in for a charge. So I'm going to counter-charge. They were out of precursors. They're going to shred me there. I'm going to get my Massilian Cav in. And it's at this point my Skirmisher Cav gets some very nice shots in on that Royal Peltast. And that's, again, that's going to be a very high value target. So I want to make sure that I can get as many shots into that unit as possible. Over here, I managed to get into his Skirmishers, which is great. He does have a couple of Militia Hoplites that are coming back into the fight. Not really too worried about them. But this Royal Peltast is just chewing its way through my Levy Freeman. So I'm going to bring back a Celtic Warrior with their gold XP Chevron and see if they can do something about it. I haven't actually activated my Hippeus Lancer yet because I don't really feel like they are needed. I'm actually pretty happy about all of these engagements. In the center, I feel like I will win out eventually against the Sand Knight Warriors and the Pikes. They're not actually in Pike Phalanx, actually. I didn't realize until then. So yeah, pretty happy about how this battle went, really. Over here, my Militia Hoplites, Levy Freeman are going to shred those Militia Hoplites. Shouldn't have a problem with that. Managed to finish off his Thorea Spears out in this flank, so the plan, yeah, it worked. It was great. Everything kind of worked out fairly well. These Levy Freeman are out of ammo, but we really have given this Royal Peltast a run for its money. Gonna get a good charge into those Militia Hoplites, knock them all down, and just kind of smash into them and then come back. I didn't want to pull through. I was gonna go after the other one, but thought better of it. Didn't even need to get a recharge, which is great. So I'm going to kind of get my Axe Warriors onto the case against these Skirmishers, change targets last minute and get into these Militia Hoplites. So yeah, it looks like it's kind of working out pretty well. And I think it's probably going to be game 2 to me. Well, I say probably, it's definitely going to be game 2 to me. So 2-0. This tournament's going pretty well for me so far. Let's just follow this charge in. Nice little rear charge into these mercenary Sam Knights. Boom. But yeah, if I can make it far into this tournament, that'd be great. I mean, as long as I don't come up against like an Aviator Granitor or a Conceivable, I'll be pretty happy. Like, usually when I come up against one of those boys in a tournament, that kind of spells the end of it. Just because they have this fucking playstyle, man, that I cannot get over it. I cannot figure out a way to crack it. I don't know. Unless I play exactly like it, you know, fire with fire. Maybe that's the key. Who knows? So that was great. Yeah, so that was game 2 to Jujubear. So I'm going to be going through to round 2 of the Farkwod Olympics. So yeah, man, XP Chevron on the Levy Freeman. I really feel like those guys were super useful. Celtic Warriors in the center doing an excellent job, getting lots of kills. The Axe Warriors out in the flanks just killing off a lot of Militia Hoplites and Thorea Spears. I don't really like this kind of build. I don't really see what the idea was, because there isn't really any proper killing power in this. Like, you've got a couple of Royal Peltasts, like, sure, they're good. They can chew their way through, like, a lot of these really shit tier units, but, you know, they're pretty fragile, and you've only got 2 of these Radiant Slingers as well, so it's not like you can kind of focus fire a lot of units into submission. He's only got 2 Thessalians as well, which is not good. The Sand Knights will hold up for ages, and the Militia Hoplites will, you know, act as speed bumps, but there's no real killing power in this EPIRUS build. I think with my build, Massilia is such a good faction. A lot of people kind of sell it short, but Massilia is amazing as a faction. They're hectic. They got like great cav in the form of those Massilian cav, and the infantry's like the best. And they got one of the best Hoplite units in the game as well, with those Massilian Hoplites. So, and Levy Freeman, MLG Freeman, just an excellent faction overall. But anyway, that was game 2, so I'm going to be going to round 2. Now, we actually agreed to play game 3, so I was really feeling this Massilian build. I wanted to try out something else against Sigurd. So we ended up playing game 3. So if you haven't checked it out, have a look at that. That'll be coming out fairly soon. But until then, I guess I'll see you guys later. It's Jujubear signing out. Peace.